Yeah, firstly, I'm very happy. So 3 days, there's some teaching or some lecture. Of course, the Shunyata, the ninth chapter, quite difficult. But indeed, I'm very happy now having this opportunity. So the organizers, I very much appreciate. I want to thank to them. Then also, individual, I think you feel something seriousness. So you come here. So, and while the teaching or lecture, everybody really pay serious attention. Maybe in some corner, otherwise here, nobody remains asleep. So I appreciate. Thank you. Oh.
那我们就是前几天再次进行佛法的讨论，还有交流。那最主要讨论空性的内容，也就是入行论的第9品。那我非常的高兴和荣幸有这样一个机会，给予你们进行这部分的讨论。那在此我非常的感谢主办单位筹办这一次的这个法会，那我非常的感谢你们。而且大多数的人都非常的严肃和认真来去学习。当然可能在角落里面我不一定会看得到的地方也是会有的，但是整体来讲我并不担心，因为你们确实是非常的认真还有严肃的在学习。
So now start questions.
The first question that we have is, how do I keep my calm in work when it is a high pressure work environment?
These things, as I mentioned earlier, for example, altruism. So while you are working, see, you can think. And particularly when you meet more people, see, certainly you can think about altruism or bodhicitta. And then the shunyata also, see, while you sort of working or mission, or for example, airport, when we look, the heavy machine, big aeroplane, thousands different pieces of things combined. At the airport itself, 1,000 people work together. So the plane, the work or fly, entirely depend on many sort of factors. So this, you see, give us the things are heavily interrelated, interdependency. Then while you are working, if you are sort of say the boss show something, then at that time, or about to develop irritation or anger with reason, you know, your boss a little bit unbiased, a little bit or say unfair, injustice, then you have the sufficient reason to develop anger. Such moment, then think about what kind of, what is anger? There is possibility. Try, when anger develops, try to look anger. We have the ability, you see, our mind, basic mind, you see, with anger. But some part of our mind, see, can watch, see, that sort of mind or the angry mind. As soon as you see you practice that, the intensity of anger reduces. So every occasion, if you have some sort of experience, some knowledge, you say how to utilize these sort of concept, then you can 24 hours, no matter what sort of difficulties like that, and physically completely exhaust, then as the 7th chapter mentioned, then you have to relax, you have to sleep. You have to relax, I mean, you have to sort of rest, like that. Otherwise, our mind level, so whenever you see we face some sort of difficulties or some stress, that is the period to seriously practice these things.
问题是我面对高压力的时候，如何保持冷静的态度？那于是尊者就回答说，菩提心的思维对我们是很重要的，尤其是我们在任何的环境遇到任何人的时候，空性和菩提心的思维。举个例子好了，像是我们现在可以看到的飞机，其实都是由众多的零件组合起来的。那像机场来讲的话，必须要很多地勤人员互相的合作才有办法形成的。一些东西都是众多因缘才有办法形成，都是互相关待才有的。所以当你的老板，当你在工作的时候，你觉得你老板待你不公平，给你不公平的待遇的时候，你内心会不高兴，会忧虑。这时候，这是一个很好的机会，让你去反省，让你去想说什么是嗔心，嗔心来自于哪里？其实我们是有能力在嗔心产生的同时，用另外一个像是警察般的这种心态来去观察这个嗔心到底的形象是什么。那这时候呢，好好的去观察嗔心。当嗔心被观察的话，嗔心本身就会被减少了，这是一种修行的机会了。所以在任何的时候，我们保持这种的理智的心态，了解了具有这样一个知识的话，我们就可以在24个小时当中去学习修行。那如果你觉得由生理的因素觉得累的话，那你就要参考第7品所说的，太累的时候就要懂得休息。否则的话，在新的城市上，无论任何的时刻，有一些人可以上来，有些人在下面都可以。那无论在心理上，无论在任何的时刻，当你发现有压力的时候，其实这是最好的机会让你去修行的。
Yes, you want something? Yes. What question?
Okay. When you talk about emptiness, pass me a microphone. Can you hear me? Yeah. When you talk about emptiness in chapter 9, it's through logical analysis. And it seems something very near we can find by thinking about a cup of tea or something like that. But when we talk about wisdom, often it's something very far. It cannot be expressed. It's ineffable. Are these two different kinds of wisdom? Is there like easy to understand, close by, and then far? Are they two different or are they the same?
Because not very clear. What do you mean? Wisdom or understanding of shunyata, that wisdom.
Okay, yeah. Wisdom, is it like shunyata, something like a path of seeing very far along? Or the stuff we study in chapter 9, we can appreciate it on a very ordinary level? Are they two different kinds of wisdom?
No. Like I think external thing, when you sort of say plant on a small seed, you say no sort of the green thing, right? Then taking care, use all the facilities, waters and the sun, or these things. Then shoot, right? Then grow And that also, you see, take time. Overnight grow, never. Proper take care. Then after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like that. So this understanding about shunyata, about emptiness. Firstly, you find some difficulties. Even I think some unbelievable way. Or things are there. Like Chitta Mantra and many Buddhist school of thought, you see, they argue. Things exist as appears. So you're denying that sort of because of the existence as appear. Then people shocked. Now, this is nihilism. This is because of the chata, nihilist. So then think. Then get some understanding about shunyata. Then the familiarize day by day, including your dream. Then that understanding become quite familiar you. That way it increase. Again now, gati para sam gati. So that's the way now grow stronger. So the limited sort of understanding about that subject, that is the seed of even Buddha's mind. That's the seed. When I was in Lhasa, I love is a flower. So some seed or some bulb, like tulip, hyacinth, I love the plant. And then due to impatience, after one day planted, I look the root, whether it's already something or not, like that. So even material things take time. Its growth takes time. So the transformation about our mind also takes time. In modern people, you see, material thing, we use very much sort of automatic machines. So sometimes the modern people, you see, also want some spiritual development, something like a mission. On, then off.
问题是，这几天听闻了第9品空性的内容，觉得，如果是谈到我们周边的这些事物的这种无法获寻的话，觉得跟自己的距离很近；但是谈到空性，尤其是空的这种性质的话，觉得跟自己很远。那空的这个性质和我们现在所要从身边所获寻的这种空的这个本质是否是一样的？我怎么觉得空正见离我很远？那于是尊者回答说，其实外在的物质，而言，像是我们要种一个种子下去，那土壤、水分、肥料、阳光等等，要众多的因缘之后，它需要长时间才慢慢长出这个苗的，它不可能是一夜之间就瞬间长苗的。所以同样的，内在的修持也是一样，透过1个礼拜、2个礼拜、3个礼拜、4个礼拜，慢慢的、逐渐的，才有办法，如同像苗的成长过程般，内在的这种变化呢，才会形成的。所以空正见的理解，当然首先一开始是非常困难的。不要说你们呢，就连唯识派他们也都不敢相信，因为当他们说到了显现事物的显现和事物的存在是不同的时候，他们也是一开始无法接受的。所以人们会对此会产生一个排斥的心态，这是一定会有的。因此会产生这是一种完全否定、断边的这种想法。可是空性的会议呢，是透过长时间的这种思维反复的观察，甚至于连做梦的时候都会梦到空性的话，以这种的方式来去增长对空性的一个智慧，如同心经所说的揭谛揭谛波罗揭谛波罗僧揭谛菩提萨婆诃，那这种空性的思维才会变成佛陀智慧的种子。 那我以前在帕萨的时候，我喜欢种花。那但是呢，我一直很没有耐心，所以我每次种完花之后，马上会去看，隔天会去看说有没有长高一点、长大一点。所以现在呢，人非常注重外在的物质的这种，而且现在人比较没有耐心啊。那好像，一切都是以机械化了嘛，所以好像觉得说修行可以像一个开关一样，按下去就开，再按一下就关了，这种是没有办法的。
This one, that's the truth.
So the question is, in your travels around the world, have you found the people in developed countries have a greater sense of self? If so, what do you believe are the possible causes?
I do not see much differences. Actually, modernity, actually I think a much sort of, in the sense, the buildings, the lifestyle, these are some different. So we call modernity, modernization, and a lot of missions. But the internal world emotion, I think today's human beings' emotions, and 1,000 years ago, emotion in 1,000 years ago, I think same. So such as Buddha's teaching or other teaching, still very relevant to this human being. Now one thing, modern education, it seems to me more oriented about material value. So people, through such education, then gradually their sort of whole way of thinking always look external values. So some kind of materialistic culture, materialistic life. Now in Asia also, I think, like Japan, materially highly developed. And perhaps Hong Kong people also, I think, more materialistic, I think. Always think money, I think. So I think the environment, because of education, I think certain, now in India also, you see people in big city, people in rural area, there is differences. In even America, you see, I also used to notice few occasions I also visit some rural area, farming land. See, they are more human being. They are sort of more closer nature, although mechanized, but still farming. So very close, they are sort of life close with nature. In big city, I think the rural area, I think the human sense of community, I think more alive. So when they meet their neighbor, hello, like that. In big city, big building, people very rush, and then when meet, you see, people never say hello, just go there. Isn't it? So there are some differences. So Western, I think materially highly developed. Now in Africa, I think some area, still I think people in bush area, Malay, some animal. I think difficult. So because of that, it's some differences. However, now this looks a little bit sort of praising Westerners. In early, I think 1967 or 66, I visited Thailand and also Singapore, Malaysia, and of course Japan, like that. So these Buddhists, many Chinese, say when I give some sort of explanation about the Buddha Dharma, the audience not much pay attention. Few Westerners, pay much attention and carry tape recorder and make some note. We Tibetan also, when some initiation, kasa, kwanting saksa, wang kasa, kwanting malwe, kwanti, everybody is very, very attentive. Actual explanation, I think Westerner, not necessarily just because of the race, because of this system, very good education. So from childhood, they education, they have sort of brain and something, kasurta, much more receptive way, like that. So that I notice. So now we Asian, including myself, now we must utilize our brain fully, not just a faith, or Amitabha, not that way. We Buddhists also, you see, Buddham Shandam Gacchami, Dhammam Shandam Gacchami, without knowing what is the Buddha, what is the Dharma. Then I think, of course, I respect all religion. However, you see, there is differences. So, the Buddhist, without knowing the whole system, then Buddham Shandam Gacchami and there's a refuge to Jesus Christ or Muhammad, more or less same. Isn't it? Kasa, Jesus Christ Shandam Gacchami. Muhammad Shandam Gacchami. We should know what is Buddha. How become Buddha? Not right from the beginning. As a human being, as a sentient being, you see, through practice, through transform their mind, then finally become Buddha. So, Tathagata Garbha, Buddha's nature, even sentient beings all have, or those who say, you see, the very, very sort of negative people, merciless people, like some of the now Muslim brothers, you see, really killing without hesitation, killing human being, same community. These also, sentient being, they also have the Buddha nature. Isn't it like that? Now, next question. The Yusarva. Now you already translated. Chinese translation already. So then, okay. Next question.
Yes. The idea of karma is undertaking good acts to build up merits. However, what is considered good and bad? What is bad? An act that I may undertake could be viewed good or bad by the recipient of the act. What is good act and what is bad act then?
Firstly, any sort of physical action, verbal action, mental action, which brings some satisfaction, some happiness to other. That's good. Then furthermore, the others, this is some sort of, some people, now for example, someone, you see, his physical, because of his or her physical condition, is a certain food not helpful. But the person, very, very keen, get that food. Then, in order to get some satisfaction to that person, regardless of what consequences, and give that food, is wrong. Must look long-term interest. So any action which help other, long-term benefit, that's positive action, positive karma. So that automatically related with altruism, genuine sense of concern of others' well-being. That also, you see, as a human being, you see, we can see I think the Buddhist sadhu was sort of practice of alms service, give generosity, give. You see, you cannot give weapon. If you see some particular circumstances, then okay. Otherwise, should not just give weapon. Although the person very much also want that, like that. So these things, you see, we have to sort of judge long-term sort of consequences, long-term interest, short-term interest. We also, for ourselves also, you see, sometimes some food, a little bit of sort of oil, too much oil, or too much. Although I have not sort of not problem of the sugar, but doctor used to advise me you should be careful, the sweet. So sometimes tongue telling me, oh, that's sweet. I love that sweet. But long term, my health try to limit. Self-discipline. So similarly, look, helping other. Also, you see, look, long-term interest, like that. And then here I would like to share with you one my commitment is promotion of, although the first day I mentioned briefly, one my commitment is promotion of secular ethics. The way to promote that through education, not through teaching, but through education. That education also, you see, 1 or 2 lessons, no. From kindergarten up to university level, we should have some systematic sort of what's the program about education, about moral ethics. So the moral ethic much based on altruism. We are a social animal. And as I mentioned before, today's world, 7 billion human beings, each individual's future related with the humanity. So, long run, for your own interest, the humanity must be peaceful, must be happy. So it's a sense of community, sense of oneness of humanity, and then that automatically develop some sense of concern of the well-being of rest of the humanity. So that is the basis of moral ethics. Any action with that is the action of moral ethics, right? Moral ethics. So now, how to teach that? Firstly, even in kindergarten, I think we should explain students about world of emotion. Just say mind, not sufficient. Mind, vast subject. There are a lot of variety of mind or thought or emotion. So then easily, you see, tell student, do you prefer mother's compassion, affectionate face or mother's angry face? Then children, without question, without sort of moguba, immediately they say, oh, we appreciate because of the affectionate mother's face. My mother always show us sort of affectionate face. My father, sometimes angry face. So I don't like my father. So age, I think my uncle, I remember, I think my age, then I think 2 years old, begin to move, go like that. So one day, my uncle was reading some text, his prayer, his daily prayer. I still remember in morning, some sun in the room. So he comfortably sit and reading that. And I approached to him like this way. And then some way, you see, his text, you see, Kasada, Sara, fell. Because, you see, so he gave me some blessing. My bottom. So since then, I think at least a few years, I kept some kind of little hatred to him. So therefore, student, say, I mean, feel, affectionate face. It's the source of happiness, joyfulness. Nothing to do with religion. Look, animal. When I was young in Lhasa, one dog, because of the mother dog, few because of the kids, puppies. Very soon after birth, the puppies not yet open eye. So then they cannot see, but you see, try to seek mother's, what do you call that? Nipple. When they find that nipple, then they really enjoy sucking. The mother also is completely relaxed and taking care. So these things common with animal. As I mentioned this morning, mosquito, I don't know. You see, whether they have, you see, I asked a few occasions, of course, I raised this question. One occasion in Oxford. Any Englishman here? No English. Oh, there. Oh, Oxford. Yes, one occasion I give some talk in the front line. Some English educated professors, very dignified way. Then I raised this question. So far, you see, through research, any sort of the understanding about brain, which size, and up to what size of brain have the ability to show appreciation? Nobody answer. Reason, when my mood good, I give some blood to mosquito. So then they suck my blood, and their whole body become red, and then few drops, some kind of bubbles, yes, some bubbles is drop, never show appreciation. Cats, dogs, birds, if you feed them sincerely, not different sort of motivation or try to catch or something, not that way, sincerely, they appreciate, isn't it? Sometimes I think animals have the more ability to appreciate than human being. Sometimes as a human being, more sort of compassionate attitude take more advantage, isn't it? Then you have to, you need second thought. Now how to act this person. Animal, I think, more honest. So in any way, you see, firstly, some sort of grosser level of the kasura, knowledge, or how to say, understanding about human emotion. Children, everybody, you see, appreciate or loves human affection. What that affection is to come from? Or what is the causes of the affection? What is the result of affection? Mind, as I mentioned earlier, you see, its own sort of world. A lot of different emotions, a lot of different mind, and also intelligence very much related. So explain these things as a subject of academic. Then, in school, further more detailed explanation. When I explain that, you see, not emphasis what emotion is positive or what emotion is negative. No, simply explain about the mind, about emotion. Like science, no concept of good or bad. What's the reality? So, once you see children get more sort of awareness through education about world map of emotion, then we can say, oh, you appreciate affection. Affection depends on this. The opposite emotion of affection is anger, hatred, or jealousy. So, then, see, what is the causes of anger? Go like that. And then also ignorance involved here. Short-sightedness due to ignorance. Now these now involved. So that way, up to university level. At university level, then you see I think the more detailed explanation about emotions or mind, and perhaps including the concept of the shunyata, these things. Some of my friends, scientists, they say they very much sort of love the concept of interdependency, relative theory. And as I often mentioned, quantum physics. So these, we already, you see, have sort of serious discussion or dialogue with modern scientists. Over 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists. I never raise question of next life or question of salvation. No. Or question of God. No. Simply, what's sort of the mind or emotion, these things. So the education about secular ethics in education field, secular education field, take as the academic subject, then can go. If you see this subject considered as a part of religious practice, then cannot go. And also it's complicated there. So India, multi-religious nation. So India's constitution based on secularism. According to Indian understanding about secularism, means respect all religions and also respect non-believer. That's something very unique. I think very, very open. So you see, according to Indian understanding, the secularism is, I think, very, very relevant to today's world. In the West, some of my friends, they a little bit sort of mixed the secularism and atheism. This is completely different. Atheism and religion. Secularism, respect all religions. Clear, like that. So we already, now last 2-3 years, we already sort of start some work, now mainly in America. So how many Americans here? 1, 2, oh, okay. Some American scientists, and also you see some educationists with full cooperation, and also now some Indian scholars, professors. Now we already working draft the curriculum of secular ethics. So I think within 1 or 2 years, I think may be available. So then I expressed on many occasions, I think some school, you see, use that curriculum. Then we'll look what effect, what benefit next 3, 4, 5 years. Then the effect, positive effect, definite, then can expand 10 schools, 100 schools, 1,000 schools, like that. Wisconsin State, Wisconsin University, one professor of that, one scientist, Richard Division. You see, he one key person now working this, and some other sort of scientists and educationists also there. So that's, I think, only hope. Otherwise, you see, pray to Buddha, not sufficient. Over 2,000 years, we pray to Buddha, a better world, but not materialize. And the Christians pray to God, pray to Jesus Christ, but not materialize. And our Muslim brothers, sisters, they pray to Allah. Sometimes I jokingly telling people, or express people, the Shia and the Sunni, both sides pray to Allah. So I think Allah find it very difficult to which side should bless. Isn't it? And we Tibetan also is sometimes yellow-head sect, because the red-head sect, sometimes little sort of some problems. And sometimes you see Lama politics also quite serious. These are very bad. One occasion is my visit Thailand, the Suvarnadriba, I think, in southern Thailand, the Buddha Dasa. Really, I visited his place. He showed us the place where he give teaching. Some big tree and one rock. He give teaching from that rock. I felt, Buddha, Nagarjuna, these also, you see, give teaching like that, very simple way. Now, including Dalai Lama, now Tibetan Lamas from throne. I think that a little bit spoiled. So, like that. So therefore, so we religious people should be very serious, sincere. Otherwise, we yellow-head sect and red. Although there is not that serious. Now, in Tibet, I think over 1,000 years, you see, basically non-sectarian sort of practice. So, very good. But occasionally, some problems. Now in India, I think much improved. Because I really feel sad. Some sort of problem due to different sort of what you call sect or tradition. It's very sad. So I follow the tradition of non-sectarian way. So like Shungden group, they very much criticize me. I follow the Nyingma tradition or some other tradition. So my point is, we all pray to Buddha, but sometimes I think Buddha also, you see, a little confused. Now his blessing should go to this side or that side, difficult. Like that. So therefore, logically, who creates these man-made problem, not only man-made, sometimes women also made that. So in any way, you see, these are human beings' creation. So we must solve these things by human being, not relying on Buddha or God. Since this problem we created, so we have the responsibility, we have the ability, you see, to reduce and to eliminate. Right? So therefore, we must build generation with secular ethics based on oneness of humanity. Then no basis to quarrel. Violence entirely based on concept of strong discrimination, we and they. So once oneness of human being, strongly conviction, oneness of humanity, then these automatically reduce. So that's the only way. So we are at the beginning of 21st century. It is not too late. We must start work for building peaceful century. Peaceful century ultimately depend on compassion. So this 21st century should be century of compassion, century of love. Then automatically this century can be century of peace. Clear? So work must start now. Myself now age nearly 80 years. Next year, the 80th birthday, right? Some people, you see, thinking some sort of some celebration. So to me, the birthday means because of counting. Now your age reach that. That means now future shorten. This building and also my quarter. Now I think about 35 years, I think. About 35 years. So it is clear. Now future, no longer 35 years. I think maximum maybe 20 years. My age, then 100 years. That's the time to die. So in my lifetime, will not achieve. I usually make distinction. Generation of 21st century, generation of 20th century. Me and some of those old people, we belong, or you, I think we belong to 20th century's generation. We create a lot of problems. Now, generation of 21st century, I think among the audience, you see, whose age below 30, raise hand. Below 30? Okay. Then perhaps below 40. Okay. I think below 30, definitely generation of 21st century. So you could see some better world or a new century, I think more peaceful century. I cannot. So sometimes I jokingly expressing the later part of 21st century, new world could be, and if the 21st century's generation make proper effort, then could be new world. I will not see. So I jokingly telling people, later part of 20th century, either heaven or hell. Even in hell, I can get some permission, 2 weeks sort of the visit to world. Then I will watch. 21st century people really make effort or not. So therefore, now, 21st century generation, I think, please, you should not take for granted the existing sort of system, existing way of life is the best. Should not think that. Think more deeper way. Analyze what the causes of these problems. And normal sort of peaceful nation, huge gap rich to poor, and a lot of corruptions, including China, including India. Singapore, how much corruption? I think less. No corruption. Really? Zero? Oh, I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Maybe 1% or 2%. Completely zero? I don't know. As far as I know, some corrupted, my friend, they become citizen of Singapore. So like that. So these things clearly shows we are lacking firm conviction of moral value. Okay. Next question.
中观分成中观应成派和中观秩序派。中观应成派是最究竟的观点。请问法王，对于中观应成派来说，破世俗地上的无关什么意思？无限还是无关？什么叫无限无关？最后是什么？破不破世俗是不是？是不是这个意思？Madhyamika has Svatantrika and Prasangika two views, and Prasangika's point of view is the highest Buddhist point of view. So my question is, does Prasangika deny the concept of obscurational truth?
No. 对的，好的。我们如果早学了，那就送到啊，然后就学习不了。3年那么就学点吧，点吧你来养大点，一天工作点吧到台北团结点吧我，点吧你送用了，这个我说。
Actually, Master Nagarjuna himself says in the 24th chapter. In the 24th chapter of the Fundamental Treatise of the Middle Way. So Buddhas give teachings based on the two truths, which are the conventional and the ultimate.
Nagarjuna, his main text, Madhyamika Mulakarika, the 24th chapter at the beginning. At the beginning, he mentioned, in that sort of chapter, he mentioned, Sanja Namji Chedam, Tabanyila Yadate. So, Kunzu Tamba means, now here, we are working on the level of Kunzu Tamba.
On the level of conventional truth.
These are not a Tandam Tamba, these are Kunzu Tamba. And the ultimate truth level, you see, no human being, no teaching, nothing. When we meditate at deeper level, then you get a feeling of something complete empty. That also, Mahinka Martha, Mega.
Yes. That also is not just a negation, it's just mere negation of things.
But the megacity.
No, the mere negation, which is called non-implicative negation.
각바도 주변이 각바를 많이 갖다 megani 시행도.
So within the negations, we have these two categories, which are implicative negation and non-implicative negation. So emptiness is non-implicative negation.
So when you think single point in mind about shunyata, ultimate reality, since it is because of absolute negation, so in the mind at that moment, nothingness.
So there is as if an experience of there being nothing, and that you perceive.
The kaya meba marwa, shunyi rigorwa.
But what you see is mere emptiness. It's not nothingness.
Oh, shunyi goda dene takba kanleswa.
But the meaning of emptiness also is dependent origination.
Next question.
We as human beings have so many different feelings and emotions. How do we learn detachment towards our loved ones?
I think, frankly speaking, the 9th chapter already did that. So if you pay serious attention when I explain that, then already answered. Next question.
Yes.
对于伤害他人或造成别人的痛苦，自己的内心也会不安乐，因此断除伤害他人的心，我可以有感受；但对于造什么恶业挥堕恶趣，我却没有感受。请问如何思维，以降低伤害他人的心？说说来年巴萨呢，年中了几月吧，等着拖来啊，错没事开民都，아니等着给拖来错熟全部来团到了三路考当过来是，说说来年巴萨呢，今年中的赛事了，这个错民都。
nghe là đã có số đấy. Nghe là đã xe về gyul 때는 딱 왜 강사하게 다 겨와 통만 매봐다, 겨와 타마에 매봐다 주제가 상당으로 봐.
Yes. So the question basically is then how do we feel the authenticity, or how do we have a strong feeling of being reborn into the lower realms of existence by creating negative karma? Sometimes we don't feel that, so how do we make ourselves feel about the negative karma, the consequences?
Well, that's quite normal. You see, people do not know, you see, the life after life and different sort of form of life. We can see animal, and I think some extent we also, you see, can see some different spirit. So it shows there are different type of lives. Then obviously animal, no sort of this wonderful brain. If we the next life, if we born in animal world, difficult. So nowadays you need, you see, the more detailed sort of the awareness, the continuation of consciousness. Some scientists, they are not a believer, but they agree the nature of mind and also continuation of mind, like that. So this, I think, due to lack of fuller knowledge about the whole sort of system, like that. She needs to mash make she needs to lamji needs to devi needs to.
So this is because of not understanding the reality on the ground level and also the path, and then the result. So these have to do with what we have dealt with, have to do with the ground level, I mean the realities.
Yes. Next question.
Yes. What has been the biggest test of your faith over the years?
그래. 찾아. I think nothing. Because, I already mentioned, we many Buddhists, one time I met some Korean Buddhists. You see, they also knows world, round world, planet, and the sun and moon much closer, sun very far. They already know. But at the same time, they also sort of believe the Abhidhamma-kosha's description. Sun and the moon, almost same size and same distance. So they find a little confusion. And I told them, no need confusion. We can deny the explanation in the scripture about the world. We cannot, I mean, not necessarily, we accept that, literally. So not much problem. So when I used to publicly tell, this description of the Kasore,
the
cosmos, according to Abhidhamma Kosha Karika, wrote by Bosubandhu, the younger brother of Arya Asanga, top scholar, wonderful scholar. But we cannot sort of accept, you see, description in his writing. So with salutation, Bosubandha, I respect you, but I cannot accept that. Okay, no problem. Like that. So many of the teaching, particularly the emptiness or these things, Nagarjuna's teaching, these are more investigate, you get more conviction. So, no obstacle. Okay. Yeah. Yes. No.
This will be the last question. Do you have an everyday advice on how to keep motivated?
Kasa. Just as I mentioned earlier, I think, and also usually I telling people, for our physical health, basic your immune system is strong, healthy body. And some virus, I don't know, Ebola survey. This is now a new illness, I don't know. Generally, you see, the basic health is good. Then these virus may not disturb you. When your body weak, then even small virus really create a lot of problem. So similarly, our mind, our emotion, your basic sort of mental state is strong, calm. Then anger, attachment, fear, these of course come. It will not disturb much. Come and go, like that. So basically your mental state is weak. Then these really create a lot of problem, including physical health, like that. So the healthy mind is very important. Now, how to build healthy mind? properly use our intelligence and to tackle emotions. Destructive emotion, most destructive emotions are spontaneous, biological factor. The positive emotion through training. So through training, more positive emotion become stronger, and then these biological factor, spontaneous emotions automatically become weaker. Right? That's the way. So again, you see, they entirely depend on training of your mind. In order to carry training, you need knowledge. Just recite Buddha, Buddha, Buddha will not help. So therefore, the knowledge, therefore, I usually describe, we Buddhists, whether Chinese or Singaporean, Taiwan, or from mainland China, or the Thai or Burma, or all, or Korean and Vietnamese and all Buddhists, now we should be 21st century's Buddhist. That means with fuller knowledge about Buddha Dharma and faith or interest about Buddha Dharma, out of fuller knowledge, that is the 21st century's Buddhist. Just a faith, Buddha, without knowing, on many occasions, when I met some Buddhists in the Himalayan range, and also one time in Lucknow, some young Indian Buddhist. So I asked them, you are Buddhist? Yes, they say yes. Then what is Buddhism? They say, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam, Sangham Sharanam. Then I asked, what is Buddha? What is Dharma? They say, we don't know. So that is our drawback. So we must study. As far as Tibetan is concerned, about 300 volumes, about 100 volumes, Buddha's own teaching, about 220 volumes wrote by these masters, these because of the painting. These are the Nalanda masters. So we must study these textbooks. Usually we Tibetan, these consider something holy as an object, or worthy to pray. Not much consider as a textbook. That's a mistake. Now we must look these books as a textbook. So for study, it's very, very important. Okay. What?
Give me a question. I would like to ask about the Tibetan. I noticed that there is two boxes in the front of this hall. I think this one is Tibetan and this one is commentary.
Yes, that's right.
It's a translation from Sanskrit, or just only transliterate, just change script from Sanskrit to Tibetan, or translation to Tibetan?
About Vinaya, some from Sanskrit text translation, some Pali text. So as far as Vinaya is concerned, I think we are common. The 4 Parachikas and the 13 Sangha, what say that, and then 30, then 90. Here we 90, you 92. And then minor, we 112. You, I think, 75 or something. Isn't it? No. Parachika, then Sangha, the 13, Pamba, then 30, then 90, you 92. Then the fifth minor one, the V 112. According that also, you see, the Vinaya, the Bhikshu lineage, mainly the four sort of was the lineage. How say, Theravada, one lineage. Our lineage, Mula Savasthi Vachan. Then another Kasa. Mahasanghik, Pajadeva, Mahasanghik. Then another, Shisamjeva, Pajadeva, Mahasanghika. Now fourth, I forget. So further goes 18 subdivisions in the Vivashik school of thought. Further goes the 18 different sub-schools. Not serious differences, but these things are same. So one time in Australia, the World Parliament of Religious meeting, two Burmese monks there. So they want me, they want to see me. Then I usually used to have very sort of deep admiration about these Burma, Thai, or Sri Lanka. These some mischievous monk also there with monk's robe, but not much serious practice. But generally, I really admire. So when two Burmese monks, want to see me, and then I put the yellow robe, and I receive these two. Then when we settle down, they expressed to me, we are the same Buddhist. We are Buddhists we are follower of same Buddha. We are Buddhist. However, there are differences. Then I immediately felt, yes, some Western scholars, they describe Tibetan Buddhism is Lamaism. No, I think that also, we can't blame to them, because in the Tibetan society, they consider Lama institution is something very important. They do not consider importance of knowledge. So some of the Lama, they are quite independent, sometimes with robe, but wife. So actually, Rapesh Lama. So these people, got the impression, Tibetan Buddhism is too much emphasis importance of Lama. And the Lama have some sort of freedom, not follow Vinaya properly. Clear? So therefore, they describe Lamaism. So I immediately felt, these two Burmese have the sort of impression or understanding of Dalai Lama, good Buddhist, but still follower of Lamaism. Then I told, yes, there are differences, but Vinaya practice same. Then I told, the 253 perceptions altogether. You 220 or something. 27, yes, that's right. These are minor. I checked. So in the Sanskrit Pratimoksha, mentioned, for example, 7 points about lower garment. Should not too low below this, should not too high above this, and should not have, too much sort of tight, and should not have it just too long. So 7 points. In Pali, Pratimoksha mentioned 1. You should wear properly. If not properly, that's 1. And similarly, upper sort of the garment, or 1. You see, the Sanskrit Pratimoksha, 3. Like that. So about this food, how to eat food, you should not open too much. Should not do that. And should not make too much noise. Should not do that. And before food reach, you also the bowl, go that, should not do that. So like 112, very detailed sort of how to behave. So I told 2 Burmese, these sort of practice, Vinaya practice. Then the 2 Burmese monk, you see, show some kind of surprising. Oh, you also have that kind of practice. So far, you see, sometimes I have closer relation with Christians, mainly Christians and Jews, less than the Buddhist in these Buddhist countries. Nowadays, you see some changing. Now, for example, here, you see monk from Thailand, and in some cases from Sri Lanka, from Burma, like that. Buddhists, of course, Chinese, Japanese, large number of Buddhists, but Vinaya practice, quite few. And of course, Japanese was Buddhist. I really sort of appreciated. They really kept the Buddha Dharma. Sometimes they mixed Shintoism and Buddhism, a little bit mixed. But wonderful, really wonderful. However, you see, as far as Vinaya practice is concerned, Japanese, so-called Japanese monk, so they are quite free with wife. And now some Mongolian monk also is like that. It's a monk's robe, but with wife. One occasion in Mongolia, abbot, one monastery's abbot, introduced me, one female, he introduced me, this is my, daughter. I was so surprised. So like that. So as far as Vinaya practice is concerned, I think Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, I think very well preserved. Very important. Then as far as Shunyata, although the Buddha Dasa showing interest about Panchaparamita Sutra, but otherwise, you see, not much sort of acquaintance with these Paramita Sutra. Even today, some Chinese, you see, do not accept Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. Particularly Tantrayana teaching, Buddhist Tantrayana teaching is not Buddhist teaching. In Taiwan, you see they publicly sort of, they criticize like that. So all this due to lack of knowledge, lack of acquaintance, remain distance. And then sometimes we Tibetan also say, oh, the yellow monk. Some say that. In Bodh Gaya and Sanat, occasionally we see some monk from Theravada country. So some Tibetans say, this yellow monk. And then from yellow monk side, or this red monk. All these, you see, due to lack of sort of contact, lack of knowledge. Nowadays, you see, I think Sanat, our Tibetan university now, there, we also introduce the study or class of Pali. So that's very important. Now, we should have more closer because of contact. Closer relation is very, very important. Okay, thank you. So, as far as Vinaya, we have same practice. Then Shamatha, meditation, same. And comes from Saku.
And then the description of the 3 planes of existence, and then the
different variety of shamatha, same. No. And then, as I mentioned the other day, the concept of Four Noble Truths, and the 16 points, and the 37 practice, all same. These are the foundation of Buddha Dharma. Clear? Then so-called Mahayana, more explanation about 6 parameters. Dana parameter, Shila parameter, Chanti parameter, Biya parameter, Dana parameter, like that. Then the Braja parameter, then more explanation about Shunyata. Clear?
Yes. And then there is the more detailed explanation of the 2 types of selflessnesses of persons and phenomena.
Clear. So, there are many things we can learn from your practice. And also, you see, you can learn from our practice. Our tradition, as I mentioned earlier, pure lineage of Nalendra tradition. Because of Shantarakshita himself, great scholar and bhikshu. So therefore, our tradition is Nalendra tradition. I often used to telling when I to Indians, sometimes I love to see teasing. Always used to tease other people. So I tease our Indian brothers, sisters. Traditionally, historically, you Indian were our guru. All our knowledge here come from India. One Tibetan master, 14th, 15th century, one great sort of scholar. He wrote a poem, poetically, right? He expressed, till light come from India, reach Tibet. Tibet, in spite land of snow, nature color is white and bright. In spite that, till light come from India, Tibet dark. Only after India's light reached Tibet, then Tibet become bright. So, ancient Indians, our guru. Then I jokingly or teasing them, modern Indians are not our guru. Modern Indian, much more westernized. So especially those, the British imperialist, you introduce Western culture. Sometimes I jokingly, of course, the modernization, technology, modern education, highly necessary. So many Indian, now I noticed this in America, and also mainly America, many good physicians, actually Indian, isn't it? So more sort of the brilliant sort of the professors or knowledgeable people. You see, I think some Indian here. Oh, one Indian there. Oh, so you see, they prefer dollars and euros are more because of that better than Indian rupee. And meantime, I also, you see, telling my Indian friends, why? Chinese community, wherever they live, they create Chinatown. Isn't it? When we enter Chinatown, Chinese letters, Chinese, of course, Chinese food everywhere available. Everybody loves Chinese food. So the Indian community in Europe, particularly in England, and also in America, there are quite a big number of Indian community. But so far, you see, I never heard or saw the Indian town. I think really it's worthwhile. You see, built because of the India town. So Sanskrit or Pali or Hindi, like that. And I think should show India, East India, South India, West India, North India, different language, different script, but no danger of separation. Some Chinese communist hardliner, they consider any sort of separate sort of language or separate sort of script, then they feel that's source of danger of separation. So that's due to lack of knowledge. I think India, should show. Now the Ukrainian problem, language problem, doesn't matter whether speak Russians or not. You see, different country, okay. So I think India, really the most populated democratic nation. And I think all those Nalanda masters were Indian, mainly from South India. So sometimes I teasing my Indian friend, the South Indian brain is something very special, not North Indian. So India, I think you have a lot of things to show world. In this country, over 1,000 years, religious harmony, ahimsa, kept here. Now, last 2,000 years, I think this country, the home of all major world religious traditions. Beside homegrown religion, that's Sankhyaism, Jainism, Buddhism, later Sikhism. These are homegrown different religions. Then from outside, Zoroastrian. Then Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All major world religious traditions live harmoniously here. Occasionally some problem here and there. That's understandable. But basically, I think religious harmony is wonderful in this country. So these are, I think, really relevant modern world. Particularly, see, fighting, killing in the name of religion. I think India's 1,000-year-old tradition of religious harmony must show world we can live together. And different culture, different language, different script, isn't it? And as well as Chinese people, I really also admire your hard working. Wherever you see you live, you see firstly you create Chinatown, and then all. I have one sort of friend in Vancouver, one Chinese. He became mayor of Vancouver some time ago. I met him. He told me when he first immigrated to Canada, in his pocket only $20, or I think Canadian dollar or something, 20. And hard work, making some money, and also education. Then eventually he become mayor of Vancouver, Malbe. Correct? I think Vancouver. So this shows how practical these Chinese and hardworking. So most of Singaporeans are Chinese, except there's a few Indians. Like that. So therefore, and look, Taiwanese, basically, this is Chinese. Of course, you don't like it. So some Taiwanese don't like when we say you're Chinese. They say we are Taiwanese, not Chinese. But basically, it's a Han people, Huarin, Raya. So you see, economy highly sort of developed. I really sort of admire. See, the Taiwanese farmers, they are farmer and good building and a few cars. So living standard very good. Whereas like India, I think mainland China also, I think farmers very poor condition. So you are very practical, and also Japanese. Because since you see the Japan land limited, so every piece of land you see they utilize for Japanese rice or some other thing. I love Japanese rice, really wonderful, really wonderful. When I sort of visit Japan, even without a vegetable or something, just a rice, very good, very tasteful, very good. So you see these people hardworking, meantime preserve their own culture. So Chinese people, really great people, really hardworking, cultural people. However, nowadays I think cultural heritage in China, mainland China, I think much damaged. Either Taiwanese, I think you preserve better. Okay. I think too much my talk. I usually telling one of my weakness is when I open my mouth, then bala 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 bala. That's my weakness. Okay, thank you.
Your Holiness, on behalf of Tibetan Buddhist Center, all the co-organizers and all the participants that seated here, thank you for the 3 days of valuable teachings, and thank you for continuing to teach us next year. And thank you for many, many years to come. Please continue to guide us. And today we prepared a summary of the expenses of these 3 days teachings to present to you. Yeah. Can I? Thank you very much. And thank you.
I never sort of accept offering. If you say after give some teaching, then take offering, it's something like business. So we have some Tibetan lamas since many years. You see, they actually describe the seller of Dharma, right? Traitor of Dharma. One great Nyingma Lama, I think, few centuries ago, one of his writing, he mentioned, see, wherever he give teaching, see, he never accept offering. Otherwise, the teaching given like business. So I follow his practice. It's very, very important. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you everyone. We'll have photo sessions with His Holiness, but I need everyone to move out of the hall